Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stratosphere Lounge. I'm your host, Bill Whittle. Yes, time to abort. I should. Should try switching SCE to auxiliary. That's what did it last time. That's the delay. Hope everybody's doing well. It's good to be here. Still pretty bright outside. It's a little after 6. California, one of the few things they've done ever that I agree with. I think it decided this last election that they're going to ditch daylight savings time switch. So I don't know if that means that we go back to Pacific Standard and then not back out again, but that big old nasty, well, it's 7 o'clock now and then it's 10 minutes to 5 and it's pitch black. Anyway, it's good to be here, and today we have a special show. And based on viewer demand, I swear to God, that's what it is, viewer demand, although I don't know if, 2 people really is what you call a demand, but I'm going to call it a demand. Tonight we are going to do the Growing Up Bill show. Gee, Wally. And I guess we might as well just leap right into it. So the rule for the questions today was anything prior to when I became the international celebrity that I'm convinced that I am. Leave it to Bilver. That's great, big booty. Anyway, so we'll be looking at those kind of questions and seeing what comes out of it. So we'll just jump right in, why don't we? We'll do Facebook page and billwhittle.com. We'll start with Facebook because I got it up. So let's see what we have here today. Come on now. That's not what I wanted. This is not a friendly piece of software anymore, this Facebook. All right. We'll just kind of walk our way down the list, why don't we? So Steve Young says, I'm guessing your dad was very supportive of your idea to become an astronaut. Were you encouraged to go after the dream or try to get your head out of the stars? I was not particularly encouraged to be an astronaut by my dad. I do remember being pretty well discouraged from being a theater major, however, which of course makes a lot of sense and is sound advice, which if I had taken, I'm sure we wouldn't be having this conversation now. I'd be working someplace else. He didn't like. It's like anybody else. If you have a son or a daughter and you said they told you they're going to go to college and they want to study theater, you think, well, can't you do that in your part-time while you go to college to study for a real job? And so on some level, I remember very clearly we had one acting professor who really knew his stuff there. Everybody else was just kind of a teacher, but this guy was just a great actor on top of it. His name was David Shelton, and everybody just, loved and hated him. They loved him because he was fun to be around and interesting, and hated him because he just brutal with the students, just make you cry. But he said something back in 1980, 81 or something. He said, look, if you're an actor and you're 20, that's one thing. But if you're an actor and you're 30, that's something else. So just being able to make a living either in any kind of form of entertainment, show business, is pretty impressive. I tried to do it as a writer and director and try to get movies made, but that proved beyond my fundraising capabilities. But I did do a sketch comedy show in Florida in 1993, 4 and 5, I think. And it was called Grazing, which I found on DVD. I'm going to have to hook that up and transfer it. But I learned how to edit on that show. I got the very first computer-based nonlinear editor. I want to say it was D-Vision, I think was the name of it. It might have been before that. But anyway, it had, this I do remember, the output resolution was 340 by 220, something like that. Wow. So I learned how to edit on that, and it turned out that editing was the part of the process I always liked the least, but it was the one that just paid me for 10 years, maybe more. So, yeah, I was never particularly encouraged to be an astronaut by my dad either. I guess he thought it was just a phase. But in any event, that's how that sort of broke out. By the way, and I consider this to be a major plus. My dad never ever tried to to steer me in the direction of hotel management. Never once that I just don't remember anything like that. I know sometimes people have their parents, especially their father, trying to, get them to go into the family business, but that just never happened for me. All right, I'm just going to go down the list here. I'll just see. Yeah, why not? And we'll do a couple of Facebooks. We'll go to billwhittle.com. We'll come along. Here we go. Joshua Alessi. It's a relatively new name. Hi, Joshua. Did it start with you as a young lad going on adventure with a bunch of dwarves and a wizard to steal some treasure? No. In fact, it did not. And I was very, very late to the fantasy train. I mean, I just hated it. I thought it was just dumb. And I kind of went to see the Lord of the Rings movie in 2001, The Fellowship of the Rings, almost exactly on a dare, but I wasn't excited about it. I was just like, yeah, maybe have some interesting effects. And I loved it. And then and I liked it so much that I then went ahead and read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And that showed me that there was more to this than I thought there was. But I've never been, that kind of fantasy guy. I never played, I think I've played Dungeons and Dragons once or twice in my life. There was a Star Trek role-playing game. I played a lot of Traveller, which is a science fiction role-playing game. Played that for years and years and years with good friends of mine. And I remember there was a Star Trek role-playing game came out, and I was playing this Vulcan, obviously. And something was going to happen, or the ship was about to blow up or something, and I said I could take a shuttle or something, get the word back, or try to bring help. And from that point on, for the rest of the night, I was called the Cowardly Vulcan, and at that point I gave up. Problem with the Star Trek role-playing, by the way, is that if you get hit once, you just turn into vapor. There's no wounding with phasers set on kill, So there was actually a luck roll, and I always thought that was kind of lame. And James T. Kirk had luck of like 99 or something like that, some incredible number.